we got to the Olympics, I had to let my animosity go because he was my coach at the time. But when we left, I let him know, look, from the time being in this Olympics, we cool. But when we leave, just know, I'll never forget that you cut me.
Having himself a bonanza.
When you signed a massive extension, you're in Miami, you're playing for the Heat, they're doing exceptionally well. Do you ever have a moment though where you sit back and you're like, wow, like I made it, like I'm here?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah?
When I lay down at night, I think about my life, my career, and how everything has happened, and some of it's happened for a reason, and I needed it to happen. So from that standpoint, it's like every night I'm blessed to be able to be in the skin that I am.
You're definitely more confident, I feel like, at this stage in your career than you were when you first got here. I've known you for a while, and you're a lot more soft-spoken and a lot quieter and a lot more reserved. Now I feel like you've really found your voice. You kind of found that confidence that comes with being the face of a franchise.
And also, I had to be comfortable in my skin. When I first got here, obviously, I didn't know you that well, so I'm not gonna tell you everything about me and who I am, but now...
Stranger danger?
Yeah, so now I got more comfortable with you. We're cool now, so yeah, you do know a lot more. We're gonna shoot and talk, so we might as well play horse.
Go ahead,
yeah, go ahead, take that. You got
if you
first
want
shot.
to.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Now we getting started. One of my first major interviews was with Pat Riley, and I tell this story all the time. It was the first time I was ever nervous to interview someone. He just has that aura about him. Yeah, it's like I felt like I was walking into like a meeting with Don Corleone. Like, what was the first time you met Pat Riley? Can you recall that, and what was the feeling like?
Yeah, I feel the same way you feel.
Yeah.
So when I first got here after I got drafted, you know we gotta do a meeting. And he wanted to meet with me by myself. Nobody else, just me and him. You walk in his office, all the lights are off, the shades are closed, and it's on some Godfather stuff. And it's one lamp over his desk, and it's him and it's you.
What did you guys talk about? What did he tell you?
It was a real down-to-earth conversation. He was giving me food recommendations.
So he knows all like the bougie spots. I was about to say, catch Pat Riley in North Miami getting chicken at the side of a truck.
I ain't never seen Pat out like that.
Do you think you'd be able to be a member of his team back in his coaching heyday when NBA was extremely physical and dominant?
Yeah, I feel like I could.
Yeah?
You know, he picks players obviously off based of do they fit the mold of Heat culture. I feel like him picking you is him saying you could play for a team that I've coached. So yeah. Hold on. So do I gotta glass this or I just gotta make
No,
it?
you can't. You gotta hit what I hit from where I hit it.
You didn't say glass.
It doesn't matter. It's the game. Brick. Oh. 2019, the FIBA World Cup. You're cut from Team USA by Greg Popovich, right? A year later, he ends up being your coach in the Olympics where you win gold. When you see him face to face in that environment again, was there any underlying animosity? Was there a conversation? Did you have resentment towards him?
Definitely animosity.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I should have been on the team. But when we got to the Olympics, I had to let my animosity go because he was my coach at the time. But when we left, I let him know, look, from the time being in this Olympics, we cool. And you know, you my coach, I'm your player. We gonna be like you and Tim. That's the closest we gonna be. But when we leave, just know I'll never forget that you cut me. And the fact that he respected it so much, and he was like, man, I can't be mad at that. Like, 'cause I did what I thought was best for the team, but you know, I gotta live with that. So just know whenever we play the Spurs and you're coaching, it's always. To get me geared up for that game, it's always gonna go back to that. You cut me.
Really? To this day?
To this day.
So whenever you had that like marked on your calendar, like, oh, I'm gonna see Popovich again.
Whenever
I'm not gonna forget that he cut
Whenever we
me.
play the Spurs, he will never forget that he cut me.
Wow. So you make sure you turn it up a couple notches, right?
Yes. This is what I
I'm
did
trying to
want to
like
do.
make it. I don't like.
This is what I
doing it from
didn't
the
want to
angle.
do.
Okay, first of all, I can do that. I'm not like.
You'd be surprised how many people will miss it. What are you backing up for?
Right, because I'm trying to get a good angle.
Nah, I was right here.
Where were you? Right here?
Right there.
Oh, that's not fair. You're taller.
What does hype have to do with this?
I can't even. Ah!
And it's an H.
I want to read to you a couple of pieces from a scouting report on you in 2016.
Ha!
And I want you to kind of digest this and then analyze it from where you are right now in your career, okay? So, not able to reel in many defensive rebounds, not strong with the ball, body has likely reached its peak physically. More of an athletic specimen playing basketball than a basketball player. You hear that, contract extension, finals appearance, gold medal. What does that make you feel?
A lot of people don't know how to look at basketball. And I think about that way because being in the Olympics with Draymond Green made me look at it differently. Like, he's one of the guys I got close to in the Olympics, so just being around him and the way he thinks basketball, a lot of people don't think like that. I knew how Draymond was thinking when he was winning the championships and he was doing what he wanted to do because everybody doubted him. Nobody bet on Draymond to be this, and it was kind of like the Golden State Warriors was like, nah, we see something in that kid that everybody doesn't see. In my opinion, he was somewhat the start of guys that technically are undersized that play five.
Right.
So, watching him in the finals and watching him throughout his career and then getting to play on his team, you understand why he was Defensive Player of the Year at the time. He's the loudest person on the court. He helps his teammates. He's a die-hard competitor.
Yeah.
And look at him when he first started to look at him now, and it's a total different Draymond. And I get the way he thinks about basketball and how he looks at talent and things in that sort.
Wait, Jordan called you and told you you're going to be a Jordan athlete? Get out of here.
Yeah. While I'm over there telling you the story, keep shooting those bricks. You keep collecting. Greatest player to play the game, saying that you have an ability and a potential of being something great in this league. So, when you look at it from that perspective, it's one of the coolest moments in my career.
This is the year that the foundation or the narrative, when they talk about Bam Adebayo, this is the year people are gonna start from, right? But you weren't an all-star. What are people missing about you as a player and your contribution to the Miami Heat?
My DPOY.
Great help by Bam, who comes up with a block. Rejected by Bam. The steal by Bam, that's his fourth steal of the game.
Why are you this year's Defensive Player of the Year?
I feel like nobody has done, if you watch film, nobody's done some of the incredible plays I've done on defense this year alone. And I feel like I'm one of those guys, even though I don't have to guard the best player, I can still affect the game in numerous ways. And I feel like defense is all about being a competitor. I don't want you to score. That's why a lot of guys, they don't take it as serious because they be like, all right, I'm gonna just go get a bucket on the other end.
Yeah.
But no, I get greedy. I don't want you to score at all. And that's my mindset on defense.
Who's the toughest person you've had to guard?
Toughest person I had to guard.
Yeah.
That's tough. We got a lot of dudes in this league.
Is it more of a player like a Julius Randle? Is it more of a player who can kind of...
I like how you
Well,
just throw out
no.
you just want to shout out your Knicks right here. But
You're both Kentucky guys. You can kind of walk that line between a 4 and a 5 if you had to.
You just wanted the Knicks
Listen.
shout out. Let's see. Hardest dude to guard, I would say Kevin Durant. 7 foot and can do the things that he do. That's not an easy matchup for anybody at any moment on the court.
Miami's a major market, right? But yet in mainstream media, when they talk about, the teams to beat or the teams to look out for, Miami is constantly just in the back. They're on the back burner of people's thoughts. But great basketball is being played down here. Why do you think that is?
It's probably because a lot of guys that get drafted here or come here are not, superstars like the big three.
Okay.
Like big three had D Wade, you had Chris Bosh, you had LeBron.
Right.
Like three of the biggest names at the time in the NBA. On us, we have Jimmy Butler,
I mean,
Kyle Lowry,
all-star.
me, but we don't get like media recognition like that. And I think it's because we're I think it's like 60% of our team is undrafted guys. So nobody's actually put a lens on them. Like we didn't come in number one pick, number 2 pick, 3 pick. Like we don't have any of those.
Is the team bothered by it? The kennel, as you guys like to call yourselves. Are you guys bothered by it, or do you kind of find your power in being constantly underestimated and constantly under the radar?
I think that's our trip, being underrated. I feel like that's our trip, you know. And we don't care about the media exposure. Like, at the end of the day, the 15 that line up, we got one goal, and that's to win. And if we win a championship, we're gonna get all the glory, and everybody gonna get a piece of the pie.
I mean, lastly, Heat lifer is a term that's thrown around a lot in this Miami franchise with the Miami fans. You think of Udonis Haslem, the president of the 305. And although he kind of ventured away, D Wade is a Heat lifer. We don't count the other teams that he went to. Are you the next Heat lifer?
We'll have to see.
To be continued. When it's all said and done and you look back on your career, and let's say in a perfect world, you're a Heat lifer. And as the face of the franchise now, that's a very strong possibility. What does that look like to you?
Wow. Obviously, I picture my way as like D Wade's.
Yeah.
You know, he's the greatest player to ever walk through and have on a Heat jersey. When I retire, that's how I want to feel. I want to feel like it was D Wade and it was Bam, the 2 greatest to ever wear a Heat jersey. That's how I think about when I retire.
Well, I think the Miami franchise is very excited to hear that you want to be the GOAT of the 305 when it's all said and done. Well, I thank you.
Cause like you said, all right, she lost.
Come on, that's a trick hoop.
That's what I said. Splash.
I don't understand. Mine are rounding the rim and yours keep going in. It's a height thing.
I'm trying to be the same height as you. And it's raining.
And it's raining.
That was the cue.
That's the cue.
Because the height difference is the reason why she lost in horse. And I just want everybody to know that, you know, we don't have anybody that's, you know, 5'7" in our league.
They didn't get my good shots on camera. I hit a bunch.
You know, we got Isaiah Thomas, Muggsy Bowles.
Whatever.
Who else you want to say that's short in
Nate
the
Robinson.
NBA? Nate. It didn't look like it was a height difference when he was winning the slam dunk contest.
I don't have a comment for that.
That's how you
Some
go.
people are just athletically gifted as slam dunkers.